It took for me to realize what true Guns N' Roses was perceived as by reading, you know, something, in the press, or getting the response from some kid at a show or something like that. I mean, I know what it's supposed to feel like, but I never put a label on it. So right now it feels great. It feels better than it has in a long time. But there's been so many changes and this and that and the other that I never even knew what the fuck it was supposed to be. The definitive Guns N' Roses. God, I mean, it would take looking at the back of a compilation record put together by the record company for me to even get an idea of what that was supposed to be, and then I'm sure I would go, no, that's not fucking right at all, and then I could start to analyze it. Otherwise it's just sort of like keeping what you think you should be doing intact and pursuing that and not letting anything else sway you. And I feel that's what we're still doing. So when Guns N' Roses first started actually trying to get gigs, we'd be lucky if we could get an opening slot on a Sunday night, if I remember correctly. And we persevered. We went from doing that and taking all the bullshit and the no pay and whatever other pitfalls there were, and then going from that to making a Monday night, maybe a middle slot, and working up the week, working up through the week. And a lot of it was, word of mouth. I mean, we worked our asses off doing the flyers and doing whatever promotion that had to be done, scamming like crazy. I mean, pulling all the stops just to continue on without having any sort of prospects for the, like the distant future of getting to be a big band. And so we went up the ladder to me what seems like such little teeny tiny steps, that when we finally did get to a point that we were successful, it didn't seem like that big a jump to me until we'd finished the Aerosmith tour in the States, and we were finally off the road after like 2 years that we'd been on straight. And before that, we didn't live anywhere, so we've been like on the road for like ages, physically speaking. But the tour was done, and suddenly we were back on the street again. And not only we were back on the street, but everybody that we were used to seeing on the street looked at us completely different, and that was a shock. So, we managed to go into a complete rut from that, and like not lose interest in music, but lose interest in trying to get to any other plateau, because we didn't even realize where we got into in the first place. And once we did finally get to a point where we could go back out and start performing again, we were on a higher level than where we'd left at, regardless of the slump that we felt that we've been in for a while. And so now we're just doing those same little steps, as we were doing in the early days, only starting from a different level and working our way up. And now that we're headlining and all that, it's all been such a fucking long haul. It's hard to look at it as being some supersonic jump from street level to stardom, And it's been a short period of time, I suppose. I mean, we've been together for 7-8 years now, but the whole time has been a struggle, And it hasn't been, we didn't do like any bands, I won't mention their names, where we were focused on a top 40 hit and kept writing top 40 hits until we finally made it, and then got big all of a sudden. I mean, we played from UCLA all the way to where we are now, everything in between, and gone through and survived a hell of a lot of shit that most bands I don't think could survive. And I don't want to pat myself on the back or anything, but I mean, credit where credit's due. We've worked our asses off to get here, you know. And it wasn't like we were looking to try and be the biggest band or anything like that. We've just been playing and playing and playing and playing and playing. And we have a lot of ideas and things that we want to branch out with. And luckily, from the albums or the recordings, people have been pretty responsive to it. And that's why we have an audience in the first place, yeah. I think that the best way to keep everything under control as far as sanity is concerned, and it's not easy, but one of the easiest ways, one of the first things that comes to mind is with everybody else looking at us from a distance and either seeing us as a bunch of cartoon characters that you just like plug in and there they go, or people that actually know us and wonder how we can keep it going for so long or what makes it tick. It's like the main focus is coming from the guys in the band and the people that are actually hands-on on the road, and we're all trying to keep it together. And it's so personal, and you see what everybody else is going through, and all the individuals involved in making it work become so close that you do it for them. If you start to fall apart, you grab onto somebody else that's keeping it together for strength. And it goes on like that. And, you know, I mean, I think there's a lot of people that could attest to that. You know, it's like if everything seems to fall apart, there's always another couple guys that didn't happen to have that same particular situation and are doing fine, and you can hold on to them and you make it through the next day. You know, so it's not an easy thing. The whole, you know, you really have to sort of, you know, reach for solace, you know, so that you can stabilize yourself.